My mother-in-law, she moved into my house, basically against my will, because she wants to help me with a newborn baby that I just had, because apparently I can't take care of my own child. Well, my husband, I don't really like going against him because we never fight, we never have any issues, so he just pleaded with me. He said, hey, just let her stay here for a little while, she'll be gone in no time. Well, guys, I wish that was true, but it's the furthest from the truth. Hey guys, my name's Izzy. Me and my husband Charlie just had a son 3 months ago. Ever since my mother-in-law Sia has come over to help and has been living with us. Ever since Charlie introduced me to Sia, she's hated me. I think she doesn't like that I come from a humble household while they generational wealth. The first time she met me, she made sure to humiliate me for my cheap dress and shoes in front of the whole family. But the more that I interacted with Charlie's family, it became clear that Sia had an ego problem when it came to money, and then the rest of the family was quite nice. It was just Sia who was nasty with everyone, but it was especially worse with me. She always criticized me for my clothing, never liked anything I ever wore, and always just made sure that I knew that my clothing was not to be to her taste. So when I got engaged to Charlie and he started insisting I get more expensive clothing, so Sia won't have anything to say, she starts accusing me of being a gold digger. She made many snide comments when I wore an expensive dress from Charlie's money to dinner once. I was so done with her because of her judgmental attitude. She was not happy when I didn't wear expensive clothing, and when my future husband bought me some nice stuff, she still had an issue with it. Either way, me and Charlie tried to get past her behavior, but I reached my limit on my wedding day, and Sia wanted us to have a big wedding, inviting all her relatives and friends, and even though I didn't have the budget, she didn't like any of our more reasonable choices for decor or food. She even accused me of wanting to embarrass her in front of her family and friends by throwing a cheap wedding. So we decided to throw this expensive wedding so she would finally shut up. Well, Charlie, of course, offered to burden most of the expenses like the gentleman that he is. However, Sia was not happy with that outcome. Sia did not shut up and about how I made Charlie pay for an expensive wedding on his own. In front of everyone, she just pretended that it was all my idea to have some extravagant wedding instead of her, making me feel so small. Well, Charlie told me to forget about her and try to enjoy the wedding, but I did not enjoy my own wedding because of her. There's never been winning with this woman, I'm telling you, and of course she criticized our expensive choices as well. She didn't like the food choices even though we tried catering it to her likings. She didn't like the color combination of the flowers or the table, and she even loudly proclaimed that she could have planned a better wedding than I did, which was misleading because Charlie and I both planned the wedding together. Well, everybody was nice enough in Charlie's family, though, complimenting my dress and the food, but of course Sia had to interrupt our conversation and proclaim in front of everyone that she's been skinnier than I was when she got married, claiming that it was just a joke, and I'll tell you guys right now, nobody was laughing. The next day itself, I asked my husband, I said, hey, I want to move away. We initially have been living on the same block as my mother-in-law, and she loved dropping by any time unannounced. After her behavior at the wedding, I no longer wished to live near her. My husband agreed, and after our honeymoon, we began to look for other houses. This, of course, did not make Sia happy, and guys, can you believe that she actually tried to blame it all on me? Like usual. In this case, though, I was not to be taken blame for. She accused me of being jealous of her, and she claimed that I was jealous that she came from, before me, for Charlie, and that's why I wanted to cause distance between them. I didn't have the mental energy to explain to her how wrong she was. In simple terms, I wanted to move away because Sia is a bad person, and it's really that simple. Anyways, soon I became pregnant, and I could not be any happier. Of course, Sia was very insensitive towards me during this time, laughing at my weight again, saying how unflattering I looked, and the pregnancy did not suit me at all. It was already hard on me because I've always struggled with body dysmorphia, and her comments were not helping my mental health at all. My sister-in-law, she just came to try to reassure me that I looked good, but being humiliated in front of everyone, again and again, it took a toll on my mental health. So I started to isolate myself during the pregnancy, and I would bail out of all the family dinners. This would give Charlie an opportunity to not go either, because he didn't like socializing a lot. Of course, Sia criticized me for whenever I did meet her. She claimed that I was stopping her son from meeting his own family, and I thought I would not have to deal with her after I gave birth. I thought no one, except me, would attend a dinner or families or birthday parties for at least a few months after I gave birth, and you would not believe how wrong I was about it. A week after giving birth to my son, my mother-in-law came to our house with 2 huge suitcases. She claimed that she wanted to help, with the new baby, and I and Charlie were reluctant to let her stay, knowing how nasty she could be. But she claimed that she would leave me and my baby alone and just feed us and do some chores around. We reluctantly agreed to let her stay, but soon I realized that she lied. She wasn't really here to help me, but to continue humiliating me in front of her friends. Whenever Charlie's around the house, she pretends to be a great help, but the moment he's gone, her demeanor completely switches. She makes breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the both of us and pretends to be a nice person in front of Charlie. However, the moment he's gone, she starts to criticize my parenting. She often taunts me about my body, telling me how her son would leave me if I did not lose all the gained weight immediately. She often loves taunting me about how she reverted back to her slim body when she gave birth to both her kids, and how I was just lazy for not doing so as well. And she constantly harassed me for needing help, claiming that in her day, new mothers had to take care of all the household chores even when guests were there. I've always had body dysmorphia, and she knows it. I think that's why she brings my body up so often. I've even started going to therapy to cope, but of course now she taunts me about not being strong enough mentally. She claims that I should not have become a mother if I can't even be mentally stable. She's caused so much damage to my mental health, even in the 2 months that she's been living with us. Guys, I was absolutely exhausted by her constant comments, but she made it even worse when she started having these kiddie parties inside of my house. And guys, she began to be bringing up these things in front of her friends, and they would all laugh at me. Her friends are just like her, rich, bored, and I hate them. After this, she was only gotten braver and started criticizing me a little in front of Charlie as well. But she made sure that it doesn't sound like criticism. She would give me advice, but it would actually be more like taunting. Like, how come my son's crying? Well, I'm here in the kitchen eating instead of going to go check up on him, to calm him down even. And even though I'm trying to finish the last few bites as fast as I can to do exactly that. All the while, Charlie just stands there oblivious to the silent war between us. And why couldn't Charlie have done that while I was eating for sustenance? I'm so tired of her constant bullying. Well, that's what it is, bullying. She hates me and she makes sure to break my mental health down with each passing day. I just want her out of my home. This is just one example, but she's been getting braver and braver by the day when Charlie does not continue her behavior. Well, becoming a new mother is already exhausting, and over that, I have this demon sitting on my chest criticizing me literally all the time. I want to bring it up with my husband, but I'm scared that he'll think that I'm over-exaggerating it. After all, she acts like a perfect new grandmother helping her daughter-in-law when he's around. I can't emphasize enough how much she changes her personality whenever he's around. She becomes almost unrecognizable around him, like another person altogether, and she's so great at manipulations and deception that if I were Charlie, I would not believe me either. And I really can't take the blow of my husband not believing me in such a dire situation. I'm desperate and would do anything to get her out of my home. Guys, if you can, please send me some advice. Should I try to, perhaps, frame Sia in front of Charlie? I really don't know where else to go with this. All I know is that I need Sia to leave. I can't take it anymore. The constant taunting. My mental health is gone. What's up, everybody? We have 2 comments to check out, and oh boy, these comments got a lot of attention. Guys, if you're new to the channel, and welcome, my name's Mr. Reddito, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, just for daily drama stories, so you won't miss out on some juicy details. First comment's coming from Birdie
257 says, Izzy, your mother-in-law is straight up a demon. I can't believe how one woman can be so nasty to another, let alone to a woman who makes her son happy and just gave him a kid. You should definitely get rid of her. Maybe you can film her when she's nasty to you and collect proof of her manipulations and deception. That way, Charlie cannot not believe you when you tell him the truth, but I do suggest that you go to Charlie in the first place instead of trying to frame Sia. If that backfires, it'll only cause distance between the two of you, and it's not worth it. Maybe Charlie does notice the little comment she sends towards you, but doesn't say anything because he can't outright blame his mother for bullying you with him. Trust your husband a little bit more is really what I'm saying. I do hope your situation gets better. Comment number 2 from J45678. Stop being a coward. Stand up for yourself, OP. I mean, come on. If your husband won't interfere, call her out on her crap. You act like such a damsel in distress who needs her husband help for everything. Tell Sia off yourself, for crying out loud. It's just as much your house as it is Charlie's. Throw her out. Tell her that she is not invited here anymore and that she needs to leave. And if Charlie gets mad at you, tell him that you don't need Sia's help anymore, but the fact that you just don't want to divulge what is happening to Charlie is, very telling of the kind of marriage that you're in. If you tell him and he doesn't believe you, at least you know the kind of man that you're married to. I would highly suggest telling Charlie about your mom. Well, if you're too scared for that, mother-in-law, then throw her out of the house on your own. Please, stand up for yourself. Update number 1. Please subscribe to the channel. Hey everyone, it's Izzy again. So, a few days ago I asked for advice about how to get rid of my mother-in-law, who's been living with us with the excuse of helping me out just after I've given birth. But she's just here for her own amusement at my expense and to humiliate me in front of her friends. I read through your comments and realized that talking to Charlie might be the better option. So I did just that. I told him about how Sia humiliates me in front of her friends, and about her nasty comments, and however, he remained unconvicted. He claimed that Sia was clearly helping me out, and she cooks us food, kept the house clean, which is true, but that does not negate my concerns. I didn't ask her to help me in the first place. Charlie just tried to calm me down and told me to keep an open mind. He told me that I was being too fragile and emotional because I just gave birth, which made me furious. He promised me that he would take me and the baby out on a vacation once he's 6 months old to help me relax. But overall, he didn't take me seriously, and I did not think that his mother was at fault at all. I was so mad at his behavior. He just told me that it was all in my head because of my hormones. I was already afraid that this would happen from the start, and I feel even more helpless now that Charlie doesn't trust me. I don't need Sia's help after all. I do most of the chores when Charlie is gone. I'm the one who cleans the house and does all the grocery shopping. I can cook too if Sia wasn't here. And the thing is, Charlie can cook as well, so I don't even know why he thinks that we need Sia's help in the first place. So, when Charlie was gone for a weekend for work, I thought it was a perfect opportunity to catch her in the act. I decided to knowingly get Sia mad at me and film it. I have a small camera and hid it to film her, and I filmed her making fun of me and my body in front of her friends, and how they even laughed at me. She went into great detail about how she respected her husband enough to get slim as soon as possible, unlike me, who was just lazy and, well, disgusting, not putting in any effort for my husband. She even claimed that she would give us a year before we got divorced, and that would all be my own fault. It was perfect, but I grew selfish, hoping to catch her in every worse situation. But Sia caught me planting the camera and immediately snatched it from me. She asked me if I was trying to humiliate her, and I didn't know what to say, so I tried to get it back, but she threw it on the floor and crushed it. She told me that she would tell Charlie about all this, about how unwelcome I make her feel, even though she cooks for me. I told her that I did not need her help. That's when she called me an ungrateful brat and threatened to ruin my relationship with Charlie like I've always tried to ruin hers, and walked away. Well, after that, guys, she was obviously just so angry, and treated me even worse than before, but Charlie will be back in 2 days, and when he hears that Sia caught me planting a camera, he's going to flip out on me. I'm so exhausted, and now my proof has been deleted as well. I checked the memory card and it wasn't working, and I simply don't know what to do anymore. Update number 2. Hey everyone, it's Izzy. A few days ago, my mother-in-law caught me trying to film her bullying me and humiliating me in front of her friends. Charlie came back and Sia straight up went to him to expose my actions. Well, Charlie was shocked at my behavior, and I didn't really know what to say, and Sia just went on about how disrespectful I was being by filming her without her consent. She accused me that I wanted to humiliate her, and that's why I filmed her. Well, Charlie took me aside to our room, leaving Sia, and I tried to explain to him that I was just trying to expose her for the bully that she was. I even tried to explain that Sia was another person completely in front of him. He was mad still at me, claiming that his mother has been trying for weeks now to be nice to me and I was still nothing more than ungrateful. He claimed that she was trying to be better towards me than she was before the baby arrived, and that maybe I was the problem. We had a huge fight because of this, and the biggest fight of our relationship, and at the end, it completely exhausted me physically and mentally, and I was heartbroken and left him with whatever conclusion he wanted to derive from the incident. I was mad, and I didn't even sleep in our bedroom. I put out a mattress in the nursery and kept my son company all night long. He loved that, and at least there's one person in this house who trusts me. I've also began staying away from both Sia and Charlie, barely leaving the nursery to do anything. I know this is bad for my mental health, but I can't face these two in my current situation anymore. You know, Sia has been taking advantage of this now, and she's been pretending to be a concerned mother-in-law in front of Charlie. She and Charlie once approached the nursery, telling me to take a break. And, Sia went on and on about how she forgives me and that I'm overreacting by staying in the nursery. Her fake concern drama only made me angrier, and I told him to leave me alone. Further angering my husband, who did not say anything and just, walked out of my room. I'm so tired of Sia, and so disappointed in Charlie for not believing in me. I'm planning on going to my parents' house, and this is why I can at least have a break from Sia. And my mom can actually help me with my baby while I get my head straight. If Charlie tries to stop me, I will call the cops because I have truly met my limits. Hopefully, spending a few weeks at my mom's will make Sia redundant at our house, and maybe she'll even have to leave on her own. But I'd say one thing is for sure. It will give me a break from all the stress, and I'm at my breaking point if I can't get rid of Sia soon. Update number 3. Hey everyone, so this is Izzy again. I was telling Charlie about how I wish to go to my parents' house for a few days, just to get my head straight with my baby, but something huge happened. Sia tried to interfere in our conversation and told me it was not a good idea. She asked me how will Charlie bond with the baby if I take him away. She told me that she would help me. She would take me out to get fresh air and maybe that'll change my mind. I was unconvinced, but she pulled me out into the car with my baby in the stroller or to go to the grocery shop. I was annoyed that she did not even let me finish my talk with Charlie, but I was determined to talk to him later and finally leave. At one point, I told Sia to keep an eye on the stroller as I went to the dairy section to get some stuff, but when I returned, Sia was nowhere in the sight of the stroller. I ran towards the stroller and guess what? My baby was missing. I assumed that Sia must have taken the baby with her and began to search. But I found her without my baby, returning from the washroom. She reversed the blame on me, saying that I was the one in charge of the stroller and that I had not told her to take the baby as I went to the dairy section. I didn't have time for her lies and started looking for my baby everywhere, asking people to help. All the while, Sia went on about how I was irresponsible. I was scared and on the verge of a breakdown in the middle of the store. Well, that's when Charlie came out of nowhere holding my son, and he claimed that he found the baby in someone else's cart. I snatched him into my arms, and just immediately, that's when Sia started to put the blame on me. She claimed that I was unfit of a mother, who could not even take care of a newborn child and lost him. She told Charlie that he should divorce me and take sole custody of the child and just be rid of me. I was furious and could have slapped her in the face right then and there if I wasn't holding my kid. I screamed that I'd told her to keep an eye on the baby and it was her who had gone to the washroom instead. Sia just rolled her eyes and claimed that I was going crazy. I was clearly unfit to be a mother. That's when Charlie stepped in. He revealed that he saw Sia put the baby in a stranger's cart. That shut Sia up completely, and he claimed that he had followed us here because he did not like how insistent Sia was to get me out of the house all of a sudden. Charlie revealed that he could not understand why I would react in such a drastic way by not leaving our son's nursery. When he didn't believe me, he claimed that he knew me to be a reasonable person, and when I refused to sleep in our room, he had started to suspect that I might be telling the truth. What Charlie said next truly shocked me. He claimed to have called the cops on Sia already, and they would be here any second, because she had knowingly put our son in danger. Sia had openly begun sobbing and just begging for Charlie to not do that to her. He also claimed that the store's cameras caught everything on tape, and that Sia was going to pay for what she did. By the time that he was done, I heard the sirens and I saw the siren lights. I was relieved beyond words. I could not even believe it and started crying all over again. Sia continued and begged Charlie to not file charges against her, but he had enough and just let the cops take her. Later, he apologized to me profusely, telling me that he had been late and noticing Sia's behavior towards me. He was truly very apologetic and truly wishing that his mother's behavior towards me had changed, and that it was all in my head. Well, I'm just glad that she's out of my house because I don't know how much longer I could have taken it. Final update. Hey guys, it's Izzy again after 3 months, and in my last update I told you about how my husband called the cops on his mother for knowingly jeopardizing our baby's safety in order to just humiliate me. Charlie and I filed a case against her for child neglect and also causing me mental distress by her actions. The court ruled in our favor yesterday, and Sia is supposed to pay us a hefty sum for the mental trauma that she's caused me during the 3 months she stayed with us. Charlie, even told her to go and start living in the countryside, and when the rest of the family found out about what she did to us, they stopped including Sia in their family and, even started to stay away from her. This made Sia agree to go to the countryside on her own as well, and her reputation in front of the family was clearly ruined. But her friends had stopped hanging out with her as well. She had become the laughingstock of the incident, and proving that her friends were just as fake as her. We're finally free of Sia, and I could not be any happier. Charlie wants absolutely nothing to do with her. He didn't even call her on her birthday. He claims that he doesn't want to meet his mother if she can easily put his son into jeopardy to humiliate his wife. I was glad to hear that. I've been doing much better mentally, and it took me a lot of therapy just to be where I'm at. Charlie and I both took couples counseling after everything that happened between us, and we clearly have things to overcome, and we're still doing that. Our son's doing well, and we're going on a vacation. Charlie promised us one. Once he was 6 months of age. I'm very excited to relax by a beach as we see our son dip his feet into the ocean for the first time. We're actually very, very excited to see our son's reaction to everything. He's already very vocal and is blabbering when we introduce him to new things. I can't wait to, for him to feel sand under his feet. Lastly, I would like to thank you all for listening to my rant. I was truly in such a bad mental headspace when I began, and it only got worse. But knowing you guys were reading about my situation, gave me advice, it really helped me cope. Top comment from Trish2378 says, "Well, I'm glad that your husband finally took your side, but it was too late, in my opinion. Your mental health has been wrecked, and you were even contemplating leaving him if he didn't believe you. You forgave him too soon, and that's my opinion. He should not have waited for proof. He should have just asked his mother to leave. I mean, come on. There's a lot of new parents who take care of a baby while taking care of the household, so it can be done. I don't even know why he let his mother come in the first place. The first few months after giving birth are for bonding with the child, so why was Sia even there in the first place? I'm just glad that now Sia can't interfere and ruin mental health ever again. It was also nice to see your relatives take your side instead of Sia's."
So the fact that Sia, it's just weird to me that she would go and put her grandbaby in danger by taking the baby out of the car seat and putting it into a stranger's shopping cart. And then she had the audacity to try to switch that around on OP and be like, "Hey, look what happened. Looks like my son has to divorce you because you can't even watch after the baby." I don't know what she was thinking. Did she think in the year 2024 that they didn't have security cameras in the store? It was obvious she was going to get caught for that a mile away. But guys, that was only one little small issue of the story. Overall, she was toxic, she was overbearing, and she just made OP's life completely hard. I want to know your thought on this one, guys, so if you want to drop your opinion down below in the comment section, I would love to read your opinion, your comments, and your discussions. My name's Mr. Reddito, and if you guys are new to the channel, I narrate a story every single day. And to be honest with you, these mother-in-law stories are some of my favorite because you just never know what the next mother-in-law is going to do that's so outrageous. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and of course remember, it's cool to be kind. See ya.